It happened on a night no one inside that downtown bar would ever forget. Imagine this, a successful woman, confident, powerful, the kind of leader who built her empire from the ground up, walks in just to grab a quiet drink after a crushing day. She never imagined that within minutes, two men with black belts in martial arts would corner her, their arrogance turning the entire room tense. But just when fear threatened to take over, one small detail changed everything. A single dad, sitting quietly at the far end, rolled up his sleeve as he stood. The ink on his arm, a core tattoo from his years as a veteran, caught the dim light. And in that instant, the entire bar froze. Now, if you've ever wondered how a single act of courage can change lives forever, this story is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what happened that night carries a message we all need to hear. And if you're moved by the story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because together we share real stories that can restore your faith in people. The night had started simply enough. Claire Dawson, the CEO of a thriving tech company, had wrapped up a brutal day of negotiations. On paper she had it all, power, influence, respect, but behind closed doors, she was bone-tired and achingly alone. Success came with sacrifices. No family dinners, no time for real friends. She often escaped to a quiet neighborhood bar where nobody cared that she was a CEO. There, she could just be Claire, a woman who wanted to breathe without pressure. She slid onto a stool, ordered a glass of wine, and tried to relax. But that night, trouble was already brewing. Two men entered, not just any men, but martial artists who prided themselves on their discipline. Only tonight, fueled by alcohol and arrogance, they weren't disciplined at all. They noticed her immediately, her tailored suit, her quiet strength. To them, she was a challenge. At first, it was teasing. A smirk, a comment. Claire brushed it off, used to dealing with difficult personalities in boardrooms. But soon, they blocked her path, their black belts tied proudly at their waists as if to remind everyone in the bar of what they could do. The room grew heavy with unease. People looked away, unwilling to get involved. That's when a man at the far end of the bar shifted. No one had noticed him until then. He was unshaven, dressed simply, with tired eyes that spoke of long days. Beside him, a half-empty glass of soda. He wasn't drinking. On the table was a folded napkin where a child's messy handwriting peeked out, "Love you, Dad." His name was Daniel. A single father, raising his little girl after losing his wife to illness. He wasn't rich, he wasn't flashy, but he carried something deeper. Years of service in the Marines, battles fought, brothers lost, lessons learned. He had walked away from war with scars that no one could see, but also with a promise, never to let the innocent stand unprotected. When he saw the fear flicker in Claire's eyes, something inside him stirred. He didn't rush. He stood slowly, calmly. As he pushed up his sleeve, the tattoo on his forearm caught the dim light, a bold emblem of the Corps. The two black belts noticed. Their cocky smirks faltered. Because that tattoo didn't just mean ink. It meant training, discipline, and a man who had already survived things most people couldn't imagine. The bar grew silent. Daniel didn't raise his voice. He simply stepped forward and said, "She's not alone. You're going to step back." For a moment, it was a standoff. The two men weighed their options. They could press forward, but something in Daniel's steady gaze told them it wouldn't end well. They might have belts around their waists, but he had a lifetime of experience in life-and-death situations. And he wasn't bluffing. Slowly, reluctantly, they backed away. The tension broke like glass shattering. People exhaled. The bartender muttered a quiet, "Thank you." Claire sat frozen, her hands trembling slightly as relief washed over her. Daniel turned to leave, as if it was nothing. To him, it was just instinct, do the right thing and move on. But Claire couldn't let him walk away. "Wait," she called. He paused. You didn't have to do that, she said, her voice softer now. Daniel glanced back at her, then down at the napkin with his daughter's handwriting. Ma'am, I've learned in this life that you always have to do that. Because if good people stay quiet, bad people win. His words hit her harder than she expected. They talked. She learned about his daughter, about the nights he worked 2 jobs just to keep a roof over her head. She saw a man who had lived through loss but hadn't let it make him bitter. Instead, it made him stronger, kinder. Claire, who had spent years surrounded by people who only wanted something from her, found herself listening to someone who wanted nothing. And for the first time in years, she felt safe. Over the weeks that followed, she found excuses to see him again. She invited him and his daughter to her company's family picnic. At first, he resisted. He didn't want charity.